So money is the main driving factor. Awareness is actually pretty low in the Indian ecosystem, I would say. Been in the sustainability sector more or less for 8 or 9 years.
So today I have with me Jogita. So welcome Jogita to Insiders Talk. So let's get talking.
Thank you for having me here.
So Jogita, you how long it has been that you've been in the ESG consulting career? Is it something that you started off with because it was your passion, or it was something that you thought that it is the need of the day and you need to have people in it?
Been in the sustainability sector more or less for 8 or 9 years. But I switched into ESG about 2 years ago. I started actually with academics and research in ESG, and now I have gone into consulting for the last 1 year. So yeah.
So, how have you seen the evolution of ESG, especially in the Indian ecosystem? Because it is much needed today, irrespective of whether be it personal, like you have the government doing the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and the other things going on just to clean up. Because we see the kind of impact, especially in this year, the climate has been absolutely unpredictable. So,
Yeah.
what kind of an evolution do you see within the Indian ecosystem as well when it comes to businesses? Are they evolving? Is the awareness good enough, or we still need a lot of work?
Awareness is actually pretty low in the Indian ecosystem, I would say. I come across a lot of companies that are in the European Union as well as Canada, US, and I see the level of conversation and discourse that they have over there is much more evolved than what we see in the Indian ecosystem. India, we are still convincing companies that you start voluntarily disclosing your ESG commitments or your ESG issues. But yeah, with BRSR, I think in the last 1 year, we are seeing a lot of companies that are rushing into a frenzy. But still not the small companies. I would say that the large companies are definitely focusing a lot on ESG. And of course, the conversation around CSR is also slowly turning into ESG. That's something that I know about because I was in the sector for 5 years. So yeah, slowly and steadily, I can see a lot of CSR professionals as well as CSR departments moving or upskilling themselves for ESG.
So, what do you think is a major mind block? Why ESG awareness is not going to a level where it should be in the ecosystem today?
Mainly because it is on a world scale as well as on India. Like the perspective in India is that it's not going to make you money. That's why a lot of the businesses are not interested in making too big of commitments around ESG. So money is the main driving factor. If they start seeing, and plus, why it has taken so much root in the foreign markets is because of ESG investments and ESG funds and green bonds, which is still something that is coming so money in India, is the main driving factor. The problem is start seeing, and plus investments are actually going down in the foreign markets. Then it's while it's still coming up in India, and then I don't think it's going to take root because of money. And of course, the ideological backing that or the push that is required for ESG to come in, that will come from the public. That's something that's slowly happening. That'll come with time, I guess.
Definitely, everything needs time, right? Rome was not built in a day, so things would be evolving. So, now you're working with Tikau technologies when it comes to ESG. So, can you share a little bit about that? What was the main reason, to start something which was predominantly working on ESG, and how are you setting yourselves apart compared to the other companies that are there in the market today?
So we are actually we wouldn't call ourselves we are still looking for a label as a company. We are definitely a company that is going to help you in creative marketing with the help of AI. And we're seeing the industry is evolving and we're seeing new audiences. The people who have founded this company have mainly their experience within the marketing and advertisement sector, but they also want a lot of honesty in the way which sustainability is spoken about. That was the main mission of starting Tikau. And so we could say that we have three main pillars that we're working on right now. That is, one is the marketing agency that we have. The other is the content studio, of course, which is like a separate part where we are also teaching other professionals how to use AI for their content and give creative expertise. And also, we have the academy now that is going to sort of work with different institutions to improve the conversations around ESG. All in all, what I can say is that the quality of claims that get made, that is one of the concerns that we want to address. And also, upskilling professionals is another aspect, the other half of it that will help us in improving the quality of content that is out there in the market. So that those are the problems that we want to solve.
Mhm. Now, see, any product that we put out there or any service that we put out there, social marketing, digital marketing, basically, I would say plays an important role right now because we are all into the digital world, virtual world, metaverse, and everything that has come into the picture. So, how do you think how impactful would a very good marketing strategy would be to to somehow have that peak when it comes to ESG awareness in Indian ecosystem?
I think it's going to be it's going to be like the very foundation of the conversations in ESG. I feel mainly because, like I said, the Indian market is still not very evolved. Awareness is something that is needed, and marketing is where awareness can be created. That is what we need exactly for sustainability to reach consumers. First of all, to understand what kind of consumers that you have, what kind of stories do you want to say, or what are the people who you want to reach. This is something that a lot of marketers do not understand, and then also to safely talk about sustainability in a way which is not misleading. These are all the things that we need to look into when we are talking about marketing ESG. And of course, then social media plays such an important role because there are so many different players other than just the company that is putting out information on social media. So even that matters a lot. Your perception can be changed because of the information that is out there.
And slowly, because even it is becoming a more of a consumer centric market, right? It's not no longer a brand centric market, where you need to have those brands and labeled celebrities to sell your product. It is basically the content that you are putting out there, be it in form of any form. It can be a video, audio, or written content that puts you as somebody who has an expertise in this level, and I would like to connect with you because I think you can help me. So
Yes,
do
so
you
consumers are getting a lot of empowerment right now because of
correct?
social media and omni-channel marketing. But yes, the Indians are still very celebrity driven at their heart. I think the celebrities are slowly getting, replaced by influencers. That's one of the aspects of social media marketing that, it's just that it shifted a little bit to influencers that you can connect with a little bit more. But yes, celebrities still work. We see a lot of large companies still push off their products with the help of celebrities, and it still works. But yes, social media marketing and influencer marketing is coming up quite a lot.
That's right. And, like you said, that Indian ecosystem is still evolving. You still have to make the companies aware that, this is the requirement of the day and you need to work, on your ESG strategies as well. So, how do you approach a client and, if they're skeptical for some reason or they are not very well aware, what kind of strategies do you follow to make sure that, you first make them aware in terms of the knowledge that you have, and then you figure out whether there could be a business down there?
So we have a framework that we have made. Basically, first we actually try to analyze what kind of communication or the maturity of a company's communication related to sustainability is what we try to see. That's quite evident from a lot of times with their ESG report that this is the kind of data that they are looking into. These are their priorities related to ESG, and of course, then we will develop a pitch which is congruent to the projects that they're already doing, and or if they're missing some aspects of the mainstream issues that this particular sector is facing that they are not talking about, we try to highlight that. So it's a whole mix of things that of course we do, where we first look into the company's profile, what is the maturity of ESG conversation, what are the common problems in the particular sector, and then if we have some ideas, we also try to pitch that this could be a unique idea that could really help you in gaining some traction in your sustainability conversation.
Mm-hmm. Any unique experience, in terms of handling the client that you would have faced, which would be, something that would have hit you hard, and you would have thought that, oh, I thought this would not work, and this worked, or you thought it would work and it didn't work, kind of a thing, which is still in your mind like a learning that you would want to share.
Yeah, so I think two things stand out to me. Like, one was when I was talking to this client in Europe, where we went to them actually with a pitch that was a lot of ideas and a lot of flair and a lot of your usual marketing pitch, without talking much about the science behind sustainability. But the CEO came back to us and she was like, I'm really interested because you all are trying to get into the science behind this stuff, and I'm just trying to understand what is the framework that you have made. So that was really interesting that that and this company was particularly interested because they are a sustainable first brand. So they were really interested in understanding what their maturity in terms of their sustainability conversations are. So that was really good that companies are actually interested in how much they come across as greenwashing. And I did not expect that they would be interested in something that they are not regulated against yet. And another Indian company, a very big one, a food delivery company that we talked to, they just, none of the pitches worked with them, mostly because they just said that we do marketing based on whatever we like feel like is the most viral thing of the day, or we don't put much thought into marketing or putting out our campaigns. That was very shocking for me. Like, it is a very big company which has gone IPO, and still they do not check their marketing material before they go out into the market. That was very different for me. But yeah, it was also great that they wanted to be more genuine with their customers. That was the reasoning behind them doing that they wanted to be more themselves and not be afraid, and rather say sorry later or apologize than come off as somebody who's very manicured.
Yeah, that's true. Because now, see, marketing is not about just putting the product, it is actually putting a story behind it and telling the consumers or the client, right? Like, why did you come up with something like this? For example, like, the food delivery app, everybody knew they started with a vegetarian and non-vegetarian, and it all
Correct.
but the fact is that what I it really struck me really good was that they listened to people comments, they read the comments, they understood this is not going to work, and
Yeah.
they revoked it immediately. It was not
Yeah.
something they said ki theek hai
Yeah,
yaar, I
you have
thought
to do
about it, so I have to roll it out and check it out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good thing actually. That's why I'm saying having the pulse of the consumer is very
Right.
important, and especially when if the brand is talking about sustainability a lot, and if you're not aware of what your consumers or the social media is talking about you, that becomes a very big issue. But still, sometimes people are deaf to what is going on. Brands are deaf to what is going on in the market, or they don't care about what is going. Like, for example, I can tell you about Apple. They started talking suddenly about climate neutral, climate change, and whatnot, and everybody was laughing about it. Everybody was laughing about it because nobody believes a company like Apple is, going to be able to make some genuine changes in its massive supply chain. That's very difficult. And when a company like Apple brings up a certification like climate neutral, it brings a lot of suspicion into consumers' mind, and it becomes a joke. And even the way in which the video was made, was very it was a very relaxed kind of a video, or let's say that it was not taking the issue as seriously. But Apple could get away with it because it has a very loyal customer base. It doesn't have to worry about its brand so much, and it could just play with sustainability as an issue. But that is not a leeway that a lot of other companies will have. They will only have a few chances in the market when they're talking about sustainability.
That is true. And how early do you think any upcoming sustainable startup, I would say, who is into the sustainable products or services, should actually, join hands with like an ESG consulting like Tikau, and, get their things streamlined as early as possible? Because I think the as early as possible you can set up a system, it becomes very easy to later, even when you are scaling up and all, you have a system in place where you don't have to really work hard and, get things done. So how early in any startup industry do you think they need to, adapt to any ESG consulting?
So the misconception out there is that it's going to cost quite a lot. The thing is that ultimately we are all just consultants. We are all just people. And if you really want your products to be genuine and you are making any kind of sustainability claims, you want to be safe from legislation, from any kind of, any kind of offense that it might give to somebody. So you can never be safe enough. If you have the money to spare, definitely you should hire large agencies that will vet your claims or vet your marketing, or even get certifications, which can be very costly. But my advice to smaller companies would be that, it's easier to be genuine when you're smaller. You can take advice on a smaller scale or smaller interval from companies like Tikau, just one-off situations where you need advice on certain things. Even those can be managed and arranged with ESG consultants. And it's actually quite easy for smaller companies to talk about the sustainability because your impact is smaller as compared to larger companies. And then you will also know what kind of, like you said, what kind of database to maintain, what is the kind of information to put out. Like there are certain things that you can do on your own, like put out data that you are collecting already, maybe for some kind of environmental clearance or some kind of environmental license that you need. So you could just be putting out that information. That's as simple as that. So yeah, smaller companies, they can talk a lot through the data that they have in their hands and take a little bit of advice from companies like Tika.
Right. And from the consumer point of view, like I'm a consumer, I've come across a brand that claims to be having sustainable products. So, like for me, how would I know that they are for sure? Anybody can come up and tell, I'm sustainable, you can buy me, and, get those marketing posters out there. But as a consumer, what kind of awareness do I need to understand? Is there any kind of a certification, something that I need to not look forward to, but, look into to make sure that, yes, I want to buy sustainable products. They claim they are, and I should buy it.
So yes, so consumer education is one of, first of all, like when again we can section it off into large brands. If you're looking at large brands that are talking about sustainability, but suspiciously they don't have any kind of certification, then that is a red flag. Because if you see, like for reference, brands like Patagonia, Allbirds, and compare it against, say, a brand like Nike or Adidas, uh, they are in the same sector. And I would say if you go and see the kind of information disclosure that Allbirds and Patagonia is doing, if you just go and see, you will see this massive amount of information, and also the kind of consumer engagement that they do, or the kind of uh, uh, marketing that they do. They will go out and say, don't buy this jacket because it's bad for the planet. If you want to buy this, then buy it because you actually need this. This is something that Patagonia did. So this is something which is radical, but this also goes to show that this company is actually very committed. Like the consumers have reacted very well to that. They have programs which will take back your clothes, repair and fix it, and give it to you. And although they have new clothes to sell, they will also have a program like that, which will, help in the circularity or reducing waste. So this makes the consumers feel very engaged. They have a whole bunch of certifications. Like if they're saying organic, they will tell you which of the ingredients exactly are organic and which are not. And if they're claiming to be have certain kinds of materials, they will have certifications related to that. So large companies can do a whole bunch of things like that. They can do target setting, they can do certifications. So if it's a large company and I'm looking at a large company, I would definitely be asking them, why are you not doing this? Why are you not giving me the information that you can give? I know that you can give because you have that information. Like, where are your warehouses? Where are your suppliers? This is the question that I would ask large companies. But that's because I know I'm in the sustainability sector. That's why I know. But yes, for the consumer, this would be an advice. Uh, there's a whole bunch of information on everybody's website. That's something that you can check. But if you're looking at a smaller company, it becomes much more tricky. But a lot of small companies are very local. Say, for example, in India, we have so many small companies. Now, these are not the brands that you are thinking about that you see usually in your supermarkets. But these are local brands, like, say, a pickle, something that is a local pickle seller. Definitely, that's more sustainable because that's also another way to look at sustainability and sustainable consumerism. That anything that is very close to you or made very close to where you live is definitely going to be much better for the environment than something that is imported. So, the consumer awareness is also rising in that way. Uh, and that's why the large amount being so tricky. This is a very big gap that even sustainability professionals are not able to solve. If you know that scope 2 and scope 3 emissions are such a big dilemma, especially calculating scope 3 emissions is such a big dilemma that even large companies struggle, and they try to set operational boundaries, and they say that we don't want to report beyond this level, that हम tier 1 supplier तक बताएंगे आपको, उसके आगे हम नहीं बताएंगे क्या हो रहा है. So this gap is coming because of the lack of education even among the professionals that are there within the sector. Like, they will not have the suppliers are not aware of what all this is, what scope 3 is, what scope 1 is, or how to report or collect data, or they don't have the manpower over there to do that kind of data collection. So yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. And that is what I think even Tikau is working for, because your second service that you're doing basically for closing the gap is awareness. And it is in terms of academia that, Tikau is doing. So what kind of steps have you taken, like, from the company's side to make sure that, the professionals are also, having that kind of a skill set to understand what is required? Also, at what early stage one needs to actually start studying, I would say, ESG, so that they know that, what needs to be applied. Is this something that I really want to work in and, create that kind of a career option for myself?
Right. So what is happening is a lot of people who are working in the ESG sector in the current scenario are graduating from science. That is one of the gaps. Okay, so either they are graduating from science or they are graduating from commerce. So they will not know what is happening across the board. Like, they do not know what is the issue with what is the nuance of climate change in Indian perspective, or if they are from science, they do not know the nuance of economics and politics and sociology and all the other ESG risks that are there. So that is one of the main gaps. First of all, our education system has created that divide between these streams, so much so that anybody who's graduating from science will only know about their field, or that the stuff related to that technical stuff. So bridging that gap becomes very difficult. Anybody who is working in, say, safety, currently the professionals who are working in safety, they are the ones who are getting transferred into ESG department. But a person who's working in safety might know how to make that environment safe because of his or her technical expertise, technological expertise. But they may not know other nuanced issues like societal issues or labor issues that ESG also, needs to cover. So, and then these professionals don't have the network to go out and find people who will tell them, okay, study from here, or this is the resource that you need to use. So this becomes a very big gap. The other issue that is emerging is a whole bunch of courses are coming up. So there are so many courses. There's we know that throwing this course out there is like it's throwing it into the ocean where there are already so many fishes. But what is different about this is it is coming from a college that is reputed. That is the difference from a lot of other courses that I'm seeing out there. And it is coming from people who are working in the sector, and it is also going to be reasonably priced. It's not a lot of the courses I see are so extremely priced that say a professional who's already paid 2-3 lakhs or 5 lakhs to study or do their MBA by giving 30 lakhs. They don't want to spend another 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs on a degree to learn about ESG. That is another thing that we're trying to address. And also, we are seeing that a lot of professionals they seek out other professionals, and they are not able to network well, so they want to expand their network. So Tikao is also going to give an opportunity for networking for these professionals to find jobs or switch into the ESG sector.
That's wonderful. So it is not just about education. You're actually trying to build a community of ESG professionals where, they can find opportunities as well as they can learn from each other as well. Like, other communities are getting built up, and it is quite helpful, I'm pretty sure. Another thing that really struck me was that you didn't go the normal routine of actually putting out a course out there. Like you said, it is like, so many courses out there. So was it something that was a thoughtful process to to have a collab with a university or a proper renowned college, and put out the course out there, because it also adds certain kind of a credibility in the edtech area, that if a college is collaborating with Tikau for ESG courses, that means this is a valuable thing that I need to invest in, and it is coming at a normal price. It is not heavy on my pocket as well. So that was something consciously taken, or it was something that happened organically with you, as in when you started pitching out this idea?
No. So we consciously wanted to make collaborations with colleges because we know there is no value in putting out courses with me as an instructor alone. Even that can be valuable. It's not like it can't be valuable, but just don't want that is also sort of sabotage on the individuals who will take our courses, I feel, because if there is no credibility to the certificate, there is no point. Then there is, if you want to do a GRI certification, why will I go to Tikau? There is GRI who can give me that certification, but that certification is going to cost me 350 odd euros, which I don't have. But here is an option where a university is available in my local area, which I know, where it's a physical location where I can go and check out and scope that, okay, and there are going to be exams to make sure that nobody, like, it's not like any person can just come and get this certification. And it also opens up avenues to, this is just a test run, of course, but we also want to see if we can get other industry collaboration. So it might be wishful thinking on my part, maybe, an MPCB, like Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, could be collaborating with us tomorrow for a course, which will be like a genuine job portal, a job opportunity, and people who are actually doing the work who are coming and teaching you, and a certification from a college. And we are just agents who can identify, first of all, what is the need in the industry, that this certification is very necessary right now and there are so many job openings, and that this is the organization that needs these people to be upskilled. So that is what we are trying to do. So yes, it was a very conscious decision on our part to sign an MOU with the Institute of Science Mumbai, where I was also an assistant professor before I worked at Tikau. I was an assistant professor there, and that is what I really felt. The reason why I switched, like I think you asked me in the very beginning why I switched to ESG, because so many jobs are definitely coming up in ESG, but the quality of professionals out there or the skills that are required by the company are not being fulfilled, and the companies are having to invest a lot of time and money in the people that they hire, which causes like this barrier that companies don't want to hire people who don't have enough knowledge. So if we are able to bridge this gap between professionals and companies that genuinely have this need, then we can also bring down the cost of a lot of ESG services, and it make it more easy to get transparent.
That's true. That was actually, you just snatched away my next question, to be really frank, because I was about to ask you that question, right? In today's market, when it comes to jobs, like what is the gap? Like how much is the gap between actually a supply and demand? In the sense, demand obviously would be there, but the supply of actual, I would say, ESG professionals who can add value to what they are doing. And I've understood very clearly that the gap is huge, and the Tikau Technologies is trying to now narrow it down. It will come with time, but definitely, it will happen. So because now with a lot of things changing, especially in India when it comes to education system, because now it is becoming more of a skill based kind of an education, and it's starting from school, and it is such a relief that our next generation doesn't have to go through the kind of pressure and oh my god, I need to have this mark, I need to have that percentage and all that. So that's a really good change. So how early do you think in the curriculum, I would say ESG should be at least like when we start with science, we have a basic knowledge of science, and then starts getting segregated into biophysics, chemistry, and then from there you take on what you like to do, whether you want to get into physics, chemistry, bio. Same way, do you think ESG also needs to get introduced quite a little bit early on, so that a student who is there in higher secondary can actually understand and figure out, like is this the path I want to take, and at least have that basic knowledge. In the sense, I'm an engineer, but I have a basic knowledge of science. Like if somebody asks me, I can give answers because I have that knowledge. Now when it comes to ESG, no, I don't have any knowledge. Probably now I've got few from the podcast that I've done, and from what I'm reading. So do you think that we need to have an early introduction of ESG as well into a skill based learning program for higher secondary, or maybe in college?
Okay, so as far as introduction of ESG into college curriculums, yes. You are talking about introducing ESG in 11th and 12th curriculum, which is something that I feel like will be a lot to achieve, because I'm seeing that even the programs that have environmental science are not catching up yet to ESG. Like people who are offering postgrad programs or graduate programs in environmental science still don't offer the specific skills that are required for ESG. Say, for example, you need accounting skills, which is pivoted towards a little bit of the environment or carbon accounting or greenhouse gas accounting. Those kinds of skills are still not being imparted in higher education. So, but yes, sensitization is what I would say, something that we need to do, and also seeing more and more professionals get good gainful employment in ESG is something that we need. What is happening is the market is booming, but it is getting filled by a lot of large companies. It's not getting filled by smaller companies in India. And that is happening because smaller companies, like I said, are not able to find qualified professionals who can go into the sector. So again, when we come, as we come back to this, one of the issues that is, like you mentioned, that having to go to college, having targets and deadlines, and this is not something a working professional wants to do, or even a student who has a lot of time wants to do, honestly, because it's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of hard time that you have to give. And after the COVID era and things have gone online, I still see, sadly so, that a lot of colleges are still offline and lagging behind. They have not taken their curriculum online. Like if you see Harvard, it has a whole online college. Like you can get an MBA from Harvard online. But we see barely, like maybe some IITs are there that are offering online courses, or MBA programs are still there that are offering online courses. But these kinds of courses which actually matter, usme I barely see any movement taking place. So I think this is something that we need to look into. Like courses like BSc, or wherever, or BA or BCom, wherever there is no such requirement that this person come to the college, other than say lab work. When we are talking about science, we have to do lab work. So I understand why you need to go to a college. But if there is no lab work involved, I don't see why you can't take this course online and give more flexibility to students. So this is also a way in which we can try to bridge the gap. And when we see the kind of salaries that are being drawn by ESG professionals, automatically I feel like a lot of people will switch. A lot of students will also be guided
Right.
to go to ESG, because money definitely becomes a very big factor for people when they are selecting a job. So yeah,
Right.
so starting higher studies institutions, first of all including ESG in their syllabus and going online with their syllabus, and then at the lower end of the spectrum, I think we need a lot of sensitization in students about environmental issues. That is still not there. That's still not a conversation that has taken place. I think the government is trying to do with NEP. I'm seeing a lot of things have opened up.
Yeah.
That you can go and do a course here, and then you can go and switch and do something in commerce or something in science, and then you can always come back to education if you leave it. So I see a lot of hope in NEP, and if it is implemented well, maybe it will help us.
Yeah, definitely. And in one thing that you really said was, in today's day and time, having an online presence is really, really required because, everybody wants to have their own. If I have a free time and I want to learn something, why not do it online? And why should colleges not adapt to it, right? And provide that for the students as well. So, are you integrating this as a part of online offline curriculum that you're doing with the university, or right now you're just purely online and that is what you're integrating it with?
No, so right now we are purely online.
Okay.
Mainly because we want the access not to be limited to, say, Mumbai or
Right.
Maharashtra. We want the access to this course to be there anywhere, in any location in India or even abroad. But there are some perks to being offline. The examinations, the whole issue or the whole reason why colleges are not going online is the amount of infrastructure,
Correct.
Veronica, that you need when you go online, because you have to have infrastructure for quizzes and examination, infrastructure for grading, and you cannot hold on to people very easily when you're offline. It's already so online. It's already so difficult. As a teacher, I can tell you, getting assignments from a student offline is also such a big task. So I don't know like how we can manage whole and soul like degrees online that way, and then it will really bring down the quality. So yes, at some stage, maybe in some courses we may have mixed online offline curriculums,
Mm.
but for this course, we are going to keep it completely online, and the recordings will be available. Attendances will be marked, assignments will be there, but everything will be on.
Is there something that only students of Institute of Science can access, or is it something that you are also keeping it open for all? Like if somebody goes to Tikau Technologies website and I can enroll for this course.
Yeah. So it's open for everybody, definitely. It's not just for the students of the Institute of Science, it's for all the professionals out there. We will try to target professionals in health and safety. We will try to get to professionals who are in environmental law, because that's another thing. Legislation is
Mm.
going to increase so much. We are going to target individuals who are in CSR. CSR is opening it mainly for professionals, and college students, of course, they have the option to join.
That's really great, and I think that's going to be a very good learning platform as well. To learn the actual, I would say, ESG, and have that kind of a certification with it, which will add value to their skill set and give them a better job opportunities as well. So as Tikau is getting involved in marketing as well. Tikau is also getting involved in bridging the gap between the supply and demand of the professionals by giving the curriculum out there. So, what are the long-term goals that we should be looking, for Tikau to popping up and saying that, hey, we have done this, now we are doing that.
Right. So in the marketing end of it, definitely we want to, like I said, there are two frameworks that I have developed. One is the Green Claims Code, the framework that is based on the European Union's Green Claims Code, which will actually help consumers as well as companies to ascertain whatever claims they are making, are they genuine or not, or do I need to add more data? So if you know, like food farmer, for example, is bringing up so much, he's making so many waves because of the information that he is demanding from these companies. So that is the kind of claim check that is needed to keep companies' conversations genuine. So I'm really excited about that framework coming into action, maybe for companies to use, where they can scan the images of their marketing and just get a instant feedback on how real their claims are sounding, or for consumers who may be interested maybe in the future, who want to just see if this claim is real, by using their phone, and they can just have, say, maybe an app that we have developed to help them. So that's quite, we are collecting data for that. Of course, that's too much into the future. It might take us a year or maybe more. Uh, uh, and the other framework that we have, where we are trying to collect information about the brand's marketing and the maturity of marketing that they have. Again, there we are hoping to engage with great brands and add to our learning. We are looking for big brands who, that have a lot of data, so that we can process it and, see what hits with the consumer and improve the quality of your marketing. So yeah, on the marketing end, that's what we are looking forward to. On the AI end, of course, we have creators and we have engineers who are improving their boosting their creativity with the help of AI, or doing repetitive tasks with the help of AI. So that's a knowledge that we're gaining on the creative studio and in the academy end. Of course, we hope that we get to sign more MOUs with more colleges and diversify our portfolio. We have so much we have so much entry with industries, so we feel like we can bridge the gap between industries and colleges who are trying to get their students placed.
Lovely, Jogita. I'm pretty sure you would be doing it. I'm really looking forward to the framework that you've said. It would be such a, I think, an added value for especially consumers like me who have absolutely, very less awareness on ESG, where I can just scan and understand, oh, yes, this is a sustainable product that I really, really want to have. So, definitely looking forward for that to happen in the coming years. And all the best from my end as well. And I hope that your curriculum really flies, and we get really cool ESG professional consultants, which have come from the Indian background, and working globally, and making names out of it. So thank you,
So
Jogita, for
just
sharing
one
your
thing to
insights.
add to the end,
Sure.
like even to understand that this is the kind of path that I want to choose. Like for example, I am able to understand the specific issues that I want to solve. That is because I got into the industry. I got a job which was helpful in learning, and that is not a gap that a lot of individuals are able to bridge. So that's why learning ESG is so important, so that you identify. That's the first step, that you learn what is there in the industry, and then within that, what do you want to do? Identifying that will become so easy. So I really hope that with this podcast, and I hope it reaches a lot of people, and we get this message across.
Oh, touch wood, and fingers crossed for that. For that. I I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation because I had my own personal questions and I got few answers, and I'm pretty sure I might be a little bit, not 100%, but a little bit aware now of ESG. And thank you for your time, Jogita. It was really lovely having this podcast with you.